west from the White House, and there he comes. You see the President-elect of the United States walking down. Hope they're going to hold on to the signs.
And the future First Lady, Melania Trump.
Melania Trump is there as well. They're walking down. They're holding the signs as I hoped they would, Gloria. This is a moment that, I mean, I'm sure for the Trumps themselves, it's hard to believe it's all falling into place right now.
Well, first of all, they're not on their usual airplane, Wolf.
Yeah.
And they're at Joint Base Andrews. And Melania Trump, who has not spent a lot of time in Washington, it must all be becoming very real for her at this moment. And so I think it's a different feeling for them as they leave Trump Air back in New York City.
We also don't know, by the way. I mean, Melania Trump, we know, is going to stay up in New York at least for the end of the school year. They have a 10-year-old son, Barron. So she is going to stay up in New York at least through May or June, and we actually don't know what happens after that. If she and Barron plan on spending most of their time in New York with the president-elect going up on weekends, or whether she will come down and move into the People's House, the White House, in the back.
Absolutely, and just I think to look at this scene, I don't care who you are, if you're used to flying on Trump Air with, you know, gold-plated everything, to fly in to Joint Base Andrews on that plane and get out with that carpet and to get into that car knowing where you're going, I mean, it's pretty remarkable. And even if you're Donald Trump, you've got to be taking it in and saying, wow, this is happening. I am now here on the ground, headed to be the 45th President of the United States. And the fact that he got to this moment is just amazing.
You know, John King, tomorrow morning there will be the official transfer before the swearing-in ceremony up on Capitol Hill. The president-elect will sit down with the President of the United States, and they'll have an opportunity to talk.
And partisans will view this through their prism. The Trump supporters are gleeful. The Democrats are still having sore feelings. I hope everybody takes a moment to just look at the majesty of it. What you just saw there, the president-elect, who will be president this time tomorrow, saluting as he comes down those steps. It's the signature moment. We see it all the time. The president's getting on Marine One, getting off Marine One, on or off of Air Force One. He salutes or he waves. It will be Donald Trump for the next 4 years. We've had 8 years with Barack Obama, 3 successive 2-term presidencies, and to your point, so he will go to the White. He'll stay in Blair House tonight, across the street from the White House, the official guest residence at the White House. He'll have the coffee with the Obamas, and they ride up to the Capitol. We're focusing on these feisty confirmation hearings, the fight over the new Trump team. There are a lot of issues to be debated, and a lot of questions about the agenda, the priorities, the speed, and what will come first, the sequencing of the new administration. I hope everybody takes a few minutes to just say, this is something to celebrate, whether you're happy or mad at the results. This is a great country. You know, coming into work today, they have the security barriers up everywhere. You know, you can still get your coffee, you can still go about your business. And this part should be celebrated by everybody.
228 years of the peaceful transfer
right.
of power.
We can fight the next day, but this part, I hope everybody would just respect the process and the majesty of this. And let's see how Trump goes into this. He's never been a politician. He's never been in elective office. He's never done this before. We're about to learn a lot about this man, but he should also have the opportunity, given what he's done, which is remarkable, taking over the Republican Party, winning the presidency, to enjoy his moment.
It has been a contentious transition, of course, and President-elect Trump does begin with popularity ratings that are not where he would want them to be compared to where President Obama, President George W. Bush, and others have been. But Senator Rick Santorum, let me bring you in here. This has to be, even though we know he is a man who is not of inconsiderable self-regard, it has to be somewhat humbling for him.
I can't imagine. I mean, just, you know, look at the way he walked down the steps. I mean, it's a heavy moment. I mean, it's just a heavy moment. And having been up on that platform for a couple of inaugurals and watching the you know, up close the interplay between the incoming and the outgoing, it does sober you. And a lot of people say, well, Donald Trump has to do this. I think Donald Trump will, in these first few days, I think you're going to see, I have hope that he's going to you know, begin to sort of feel the weight of even more than he has. I mean, it's not been a traditional transition. I mean, now that he's here, now that he's got all of the trappings of the presidency around them, it does change you. I mean, I've talked to a lot of folks about it. It does change you, and we'll wait and see. I'm optimistic. I really am optimistic.
Normally, once he becomes president, he wouldn't have a motorcade unless the weather is bad. To go from Joint Base Andrews in Maryland outside of Washington to the White House, they take Marine One and land on the south lawn of the White House. He's not yet president of the United States. This is probably going to be about a 20-minute ride. The police escorted motorcade into Washington, D.C., and of course, he'll be heading over eventually to Blair House, where he's going to be staying. Angela Rye, your thoughts as we watch history unfold?
Well, it's definitely a historic moment. I think that it's been a very interesting campaign. It was run very much like a reality show, and I think it was unconventional. This populist type of president that appealed to anger, that appealed to frustration in this country, and I think capitalized on it in a lot of ways. It's also interesting to see this happening while the hearings are happening on the Hill, as contentious as they are. But he has nominated some folks who are able to withstand that pressure, and I think the pressure will certainly not let up in the coming days. There are a lot of mixed emotions around this inauguration. Folks who are really, really excited and happy about what's to come, and folks who are lamenting the passage of time that's really gone by with the first black president serving 2 terms. So it's interesting to see, and I'll be watching.
And Gloria, they've said really nice things about each other, the outgoing president and the incoming president. Even yesterday, they were talking about how gracious this process has been at their level.
Well, as it should be, Wolf, and talk about this being a moment. I'm sure it was, as Rick Santorum said, a moment for Donald Trump walking down those steps. There are going to be many more. Not only is he going to have coffee with the outgoing